Chris and his dad talk about sports.
Did you press record?
Yeah, if the light's on, it means it's recording.
You sure?
Oh, I'm positive.
I don't know.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, co-host of the Chris and His Dad Show, founder of the Sports Court, and joined here for Season 2, Episode 1 of the Chris and His Dad Show.
What's up, Christopher?
Not much, you know. Same old stuff going on. We got a lot of topics in the NFL, though, that we got to go over. A lot of stuff happened in the offseason that I really think we need to discuss in today's episode. And then, obviously, dive into what we think generally is going to happen this season and give some predictions on the divisions in the NFL. And it's going to feature a very special guest by the name of Jim Mora.
Jim Mora? The guy from the Saints?
Yeah, you know.
You mean the guy who made that...
Playoffs? Playoffs? Let's cue the clip. Cue the clip.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Playoffs?
Yeah, so that's Jim Mora. He's a big fan of the Chris and His Dad Show.
That is classic. I mean, Jim Mora, he started the head coach rant after the game. I mean, that guy is known for that. I mean, he was also a really good coach, and I mean, he had a lot of losing seasons with the Saints, but I mean, that's when the Saints were the Aints. Remember that?
Yeah.
But Jim Mora has been in the league he was in the league for quite a while, and I think his son now is an assistant coach somewheres. So he's definitely a big football guy, and he's legendary for his post-game rant. Unfortunately, that thing went viral and never left. So
I think that's what he's known for now.
You spoke to him?
Yeah, so spoke to him. He's a big fan of the Chris and His Dad Show, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, me and my dad, obviously, we do this sports talk show, and I was just wondering, talking to him, if we could get a couple predictions." And of course, He went very in depth into the divisional rankings of these teams, which we're gonna do today as well. Gonna predict our division winners, and I can't wait because I have some bold takes. Jim has some bold takes, and hopefully you bring the fire as well.
Yeah, I'll bring the reasonable takes. But just a quick question: did you actually get him to do the playoffs thing?
Yeah, well, we can show that right now. Cue the clip.
Haven't even started the season yet, and you guys are talking about playoffs? You got to be kidding me. You can talk about playoffs towards the end of the season or when you get to the playoffs. Don't talk about it now before you've even played a game.
That is classic.
Yeah, well,
absolutely
Jim
classic.
Mora. Something's never changed, right?
I don't think he's ever done that. I've never seen that anywhere.
Yeah, since then.
You got Jim Mora to reenact the famous post-game rant.
What can I say?
Who are you going to get next? Dennis Green?
All right. Well,
the Bears are what we thought they were.
Yeah, or I could get
What's your favorite rant ever?
Ooh, I mean, I'm a big Allen Iverson when he was like, practice.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah.
I mean, I could keep that clip right now, too.
It's easy to sum it up when you just talk about practice. We sitting here, I'm supposed to be the franchise player, and we're in here talking about practice. I mean, listen, we talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice. Not a game. Not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man.
But Allen Iverson, that's an iconic one. I'm trying to think of the other ones. You got any in your mind?
Well, I mean, it's not really a rant, but Bill Belichick is known for his post-game, not answering anything and being very, awkward. It was always awkward silence. But I think Jim Mora really is the top of the list. If you go to the top 10, I mean, that whole playoff thing was iconic,
I showed you the new soccer superstar, and they're like, how do you feel about scoring a hat trick? And he goes, very good.
Yeah, that was a good one, too.
But anyways, let's jump in to these off-season transactions throughout the NFL. and how it's going to affect the teams before we go into the divisional rankings, because we need to know about what the teams are looking like. And what are
the big transactions that you saw that we should be looking out for, Chris?
Julio Jones to the Buccaneers. Julio Jones is much older now. He's kind of slowed down, but he is one of the best receivers of all time, and I'll stand by that. I firmly believe he's top 10 of all time. He's 33 years old, but I think in a Buccaneers offense led by Tom Brady, I think we could see a resurgence in Julio Jones, and a guy who could play his role very well, and it just gives Tom Brady yet another weapon. You have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, I believe Russell Gage. You just have so many weapons on that, and then you have great running backs as well. I mean, Leonard Fournette and those guys back there.
You got to think that this is going to rejuvenate, Jones. I mean, to be playing with Brady, that's got to
It's huge. It's monumental. I think this is a huge move. He knows the division obviously very well. I mean, he's been in that division, so I think he's going
to help them out. So what else? Where else in the NFL do you see some big transactions?
Before we go into the whole, I think we should skip to Deshaun Watson for now and can jump into Denver, Broncos country. Let's ride, baby. Russell Wilson going to Denver, going to the high altitude there, and I'm a huge fan of this move. And here's why. The Denver Broncos, what they needed and what they were missing last year was a quarterback, and somehow, some way, they got Russell Wilson.
Well, I'll tell you how they did. They gave up a bunch, didn't they?
Yeah, they gave up 2022 first, second, and fifth round picks.
They have no draft picks
2023 first.
3 years.
Noah Fant. What's funny is Drew Lock got sent over there. By the way, John Elway might be the worst person ever at drafting quarterbacks. For such a great quarterback he was, I mean, he has missed every single time. And the only time he ever had success was when he brought in an old head in Peyton Manning, and it's exactly what's going to happen again.
Yeah, Broncos, well, he won the Super Bowl with that.
Yeah, and the Broncos defense have improved. They signed Randy Gregory. Obviously, he's a beast. He was on the Cowboys. You have Bradley Chubb back there. The defense is really good. You have really good wide receivers. I know they do have a couple injuries they're going through right now, but Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton right there in that wide receiving corp. I'm a big fan of this move. I think Russell Wilson will, because all they were missing last year was a quarterback. That's literally what set them back. The only issue with this move is the AFC West is still very, very the best division in football. So you have you have 6 games a year that could go either way.
Tough division.
At least 6 games away.
That's going to be a fun one to watch, though. I mean, you got the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders in one division. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. And I talked a bit about those Broncos receivers. Let's talk about one of them. And speaking of the AFC West, former Kansas City Chief Tyreek Hill now went to the Miami Dolphins in a monster. I mean, the amount of money that guy's making now, it's huge. He's one of the, I think, maybe the biggest wide receiver deal of all time. Undoubtedly, to me, a top 3 receiver in the NFL. What do you think of Tyreek Hill and the talent that he brings to this Miami offense with Tua Tagovailoa and make or break here?
It's huge. I think the Dolphins could be one of those teams that has the biggest turnaround. Just like last year, the Bengals went from worst to first, right? Mm-hmm. I could see the Dolphins maybe not being that dramatic, but I could see them really given a run for their division and maybe finishing first in their division.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go first only because the Buffalo Bills still exist, but we'll get into that in a bit. I just think Tyreek Hill adds a whole new dimension.
He's just so hard to cover, though. I mean, the guy is the guy is unbelievable. He's a game changer. He really is. He's a game changer.
To me, it does depend on the quarterback play of Tua.
There are some pretty big question marks there, right?
People have been. I mean, Tyreek Hill is a big Tua fan. He says Tua is more accurate than Mahomes. He's just doing that. What is he supposed to say? He's not supposed to go out in the media and bash his quarterback, right? So I think those quotes that he's been saying have been getting hyped up a bit too much. But, of course, I just think the new head coach, too, and Mike McDaniels, he was the offensive coordinator of the 49ers. And we think of the 49ers offense last year, most modernized offense ever.
He's coaching now the Dolphins.
He's coaching the Dolphins. So they got a new head coach. He's a brilliant offensive mind. We could see what he can cook up there.
That was actually a big controversy, right? Because they skipped over
Brian Flores. They fired Brian Flores.
Yeah,
so
we'll
see
see
what
a big
happens.
Controversy. I could see the Dolphins. Maybe you're right. Maybe first is a little bit too aggressive, but they could, challenge the Patriots for second place. And we all know where the Jets will end up.
Well, now, I'm going to go back to the AFC West where Khalil Mack was sent to the Chargers. He was 2016 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 76.5 career sacks. This guy is a unit, and he's one of the best defenders of this generation. And it's crazy for me because I remember this guy getting drafted like it was yesterday, and now he's 30 years old. So for me, it's just crazy seeing all these guys come to the end of their careers almost. But this is a huge deal for the Chargers.
Yeah, there's another team that I love, the Chargers. I mean, I loved them last year, and I was so disappointed how it ended. Yeah. So I do think this will be huge for them. It's once again, it's a tough division, but I love their quarterback, and now you got Mac. I don't know if he can still. I mean, he's 30 years old. Can he still bring it? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And also, you know what we're gonna.
Some pretty nice weather there, too, man. Changing it up from Chicago.
Yeah, I'll tell you that much. Get the NFL music queued up a little, too.
All right.
Can't forget that. It's been a while since that NFL music. And lastly, before we go into Deshaun Watson and that whole situation and debacle in Cleveland and Houston, you could say Davante Adams, perhaps the best wide receiver in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers' go-to man in Green Bay, is headed to Las Vegas, where he's going to team up with Derek Carr. And this is a guy who helped Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back MVPs. This is how great of a wide receiver Davante Adams is. He had over 1,500 receiving yards last season, combined with 11 touchdowns. This is huge. And we talk about the AFC West and how it's only getting better. You get Russell Wilson into that division. Now all of a sudden you get Davante Adams. How good can this division get?
Yeah, that is amazing. I actually think the Chiefs are going to step back a little.
Yeah.
I do. I think there's going to be a new number one in the AFC West. So, question is it going to be the Broncos, Chargers, or Raiders?
Man.
Or do you think it's going to be the Chiefs again?
I honestly think we'll get into. I think the Chargers person, but we'll get into that. For me, this is a huge move for the Raiders. You have Hunter Renfrow, who I don't know if you've seen Hunter Renfrow, what he looks like, but he's just got this dad bod. He was at Clemson, won a national championship there with Deshaun Watson, and funny enough. And all of a sudden now he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. And it's just like, how does this guy become one of the best wide receivers? And you pair him, because now when you're going to double, you're going to have two men on Adams. So that just leaves Hunter Renfrow, who's one of the best route runners, totally available. So it's just that 1-2 punch. And that's why they're going to be very, very good.
The Raiders are going to be tough, man.
To me, it's about the coaching and it's about the running game there. See what can happen in Las Vegas. I think it could be good. Las Vegas is not the best city for athletes to be in, though. We've seen that happen.
Why? What happens?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Let's just say that.
Apparently not.
Yeah, right? Anyways, let's talk a bit about the man of the hour, the man everybody has had their eyes glued to this offseason and this case in Deshaun Watson. Now, I'm just going to talk about this case a little. So,
oh boy.
Obviously, you have over 20 allegations. 20 allegations, but they were all settled except 2 that were brought to the NFL's judge that they had for this case. And that judge decided off of the NFL rules and the handbook that they gave her that the best suspension was 6 games. And the NFL appealed this, and eventually it got to 11 games and a $5 million fine off of a $255 million contract. So pretty much peanuts for
However,
what he did.
You don't know how much he's paying those women.
Yeah,
right?
Obviously. And I'm just saying that this is what the NFL gave him.
Yeah.
A lot of people want a full season. But my biggest issue with this is the NFL's rules. Like, how many times can you go through the same situation? Ben Roethlisberger was suspended for sexual assault for 4 games back in years ago. Just so many people. The average suspension for violence, any like domestic or just any sort of like battery, anything like that, is 2 games. Meanwhile, Calvin Ridley was suspended a full season for betting $1,500 on the Falcons to win a game when he was injured. And he's the receiver for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Josh Gordon's been suspended for smoking weed. Obviously, don't do that if it's not in the, follow the rules. I'm not saying to do that, but it's just crazy.
It's a crazy situation, and Deshaun Watson is out for 11 games, so that's going to have a huge impact on the Browns. Obviously, they don't have who is
Baker.
Who is? They got rid of
anymore.
Baker, so
it's Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett, who was on the Colts. He's a good filler quarterback.
I think the Browns are going to be awful once again. And
they have Amari Cooper now.
Yeah.
That's huge. Amari Cooper is, what a receiver he was we know him from the Giants. He was a great receiver for the Cowboys. He beat us time after time again.
Right.
He was a phenomenal wide receiver. So we'll see what happens there.
I think they're going to struggle.
My question is, when Deshaun Watson comes back, what's he going to play like? He hasn't played football in like a year and a half in the NFL.
Well, hopefully he's taking care of his body, and he's
either going to be the most well-rested, like, go out there like an MVP level, or he's going to just take a huge step back.
And I hope he's not getting any massages while he's taking this break.
The National Massage Convention was in Cleveland.
Are you serious?
I'm not even joking. You can't make this stuff up.
Did he go there? All right, let's move on.
No one knows about that one. Let's move on to the divisional talkings that we're going to go to. And, Dad, what do you say we jump into the AFC East first? We were talking a bit about that, about you going the Dolphins. But first, let's go to what Jim Mora had to say.
In the AFC East, definitely Buffalo. No question about it. They're the best team. They're still a relatively young team, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them in the Super Bowl again, or not again, or in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. I just think Buffalo is that team right now in the AFC East, and I think they're the best team suited for the Super Bowl right now. I think while some teams took a step back, even the Bengals, I just don't think can repeat that magic this year. I think they're still going to be a good team. I just think the Buffalo Bills are in the best situation. They haven't really lost anybody. They've only added to what they have. Josh Allen is, to me, the best quarterback in the NFL. I'm going the Buffalo Bills going 15-2 and winning the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I do have the Dolphins making the playoffs, though, in the wild card.
Wow. Listen, it's pretty cool having Jim Mora actually do the predictions with us.
Yeah, really
That's
cool.
pretty cool. And he's a big Buffalo guy now, so, listen.
He's just copying what I said.
Yeah, okay. That's a tough division, though, man. You got Miami Dolphins, you got the Patriots, you got the Bills. The Bills are right now, they've proven, last year they proved, they really should have gone to the Super Bowl. That was a bitter, bitter defeat. A game that I still can't. You okay? Do you know?
Carry on.
It's called a cough button.
I did. I pressed the cough button.
Well, I can hear you coughing.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'll agree with you, though. I'm going to say the Bills are going to the playoffs, but I'm not ready to crown them as Super Bowl champions like you are. That's a little bit of a bandwagon move on your part.
Give Josh Allen the Lombardi. I don't care.
A little bit of a bandwagon move on your part.
All right. Well, let's go up to the AFC North then.
All right. Has Jim got one on this?
Jim does have one on this. Jim, take it away.
AFC North, Cincinnati going away. I like Cincinnati. They were in the Super Bowl last year. I still think Buffalo's a little bit better team than Cincinnati. And who knows? Either one of those teams, and they might be the two best teams in the AFC.
All right. So obviously, Jim, big Bengals guy. He has the Bengals having another good season. Doesn't think they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. He obviously, as mentioned in the AFC East, has the Bills. I have the Bengals going 11-6. Obviously, this offensive line, though, needs to get better, and I think that was the most glaring thing. They wouldn't have won the Super Bowl last year if they had an offensive line that could just hold its own, which they didn't. I also have the Ravens going 11-6 because I did this whole series. What is it? Regular season predictor website, and it made it for me. And they actually lost out on a playoff spot to do a tiebreaker. But just don't count out Mike Tomlin, though.
Well, listen, Mike Tomlin's got a little work to do there in Pittsburgh.
Never had a losing season.
All right, but that's not going to win you the division when you got the Bengals in the division and they're as good as they are. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I don't think it's a big mystery here. Cincinnati will win the division quite easily.
Yeah, well,
and I think Tomlin's got to work on the new quarterback. What's that guy's name?
Kenny Pickett. Kenny Joe Pickett. Burrow, by the way, has been injured.
Joe Burrow has been injured.
Off-season. And Tom Brady's been out this off-season, too. So we'll see what happens with those guys.
He's not injured, Tom Brady. He's just taking,
I know. Yeah. Taking a personal break.
Yeah.
Now let's go down south to the nice weathered climate states. And AFC South, Jim Mora, he has a close call here. Take it away, Jim.
Tennessee or the Colts. Neither one of them were in the playoffs last year. I think they were close, but they didn't make it. And I don't think either one of those teams are as good as Buffalo or Cincinnati. But they're the two best teams in the AFC South.
Yeah, so Tennessee or the Colts for Jim. I personally have the Colts going 12-2. I think Matt Ryan is this isn't a move we didn't even talk about. I guess we can talk about it now. Matt Ryan going to the Colts might be one of the most influential moves of the offseason to me. This is a guy that's top 10 all time in passing yards, passing touchdowns, pretty much all the major passing stats, has an MVP to his name.
He's getting old.
Yeah, but he's a really solid quarterback still. And he has a great offensive line. He has a great running back in Jonathan Taylor. And to me, the most underrated receiver in the league in Michael Pittman. Darius Leonard, one of the best defenders in the NFL. I'm going Colts and having the 2 seed in the AFC. I think that's how good they are this year. Really?
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to be really good because of their offensive line, but I still like the Tennessee Titans, and I just think they have something really good there, and with that running back.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, but they lost their main wide receivers. Really, I mean, AJ Brown's gone.
But Derrick Henry is just a beast, even though he got hurt last year, right? So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see what kind of form he comes back in. But I've watched some clips about him working out in the off season.
It's crazy.
The guy's a monster. Absolute monster.
Might be one of the most athletically gifted people on the planet. Because when you think about his size,
besides me,
back in your roller hockey days,
yeah.
But at his size, the way he moves and how agile he is, it's just unprecedented. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it, and I don't think I ever will see anything like it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans, and I think they will win the division. I think the Texans are going to be horrible again. Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think Jags are going to take a bit of a step up, but not a step up enough. Like I'm talking like five wins maybe.
Really?
Compared.
Okay. Yeah.
They've been growing. It's just a lot of young guys on that team.
Yeah.
And obviously they had a bunch of coaching issues last year.
Yeah.
But now let's go into the division everyone wants to talk about.
Okay. Where are we going?
The AFC West. So, to me, best division in all of football. Jim Mora. Yeah, go ahead a couple words for it. Let's see what he has to say.
AFC West. I think the AFC West, from top to bottom, is the toughest, most equal division in the league, with number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, all being pretty good football teams. And it wouldn't surprise me if who of those 4 would win the division or get into the playoffs. Kansas City is probably still the best. I like San Diego coming on with the quarterback. I really like that quarterback. He'll be in his 3rd year this year, I believe, and I think he'll help. And I think with the new coaching staff that came in last year, I think they're going to get better. Denver definitely going to get better with the new quarterback. That's a given. Their defense was really good last year under my friend Vic Fangio, who got fired, which I didn't like. But they got a special quarterback, and that's been their problem the last few years. And so that's going to make a difference. And then, of course, Las Vegas, who I think is getting better every year. So that AFC West is tough with KC, San Diego, Denver, and Las Vegas.
Yeah. So right there, Jim. Sounds like Jim doesn't really know what to choose right there. He has a couple teams.
He was going all over. I wasn't sure what he was going to say there.
Yeah. It's Kansas City. He has, L.A., Denver. Who's going to win? Yeah, not really mentioning
Jim
Vegas
sounded
too
like
much.
you on that. He's kind of covering his bases with everybody.
Well, you have to make an educated guess. I have 3 teams going to the playoffs in this division.
Who did he end up picking? Did he make a pick?
No, he didn't. He said, it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City wins, but, LA's got a really good team. I like Justin Herbert, but Denver's got Russell Wilson now, so
Playoffs.
I don't know who to choose from. Playoffs. Chargers going 12-5 to me. They're gonna win the division.
Ooh, you're picking the Chargers?
12-5 to win the division. I think Kansas City and Las Vegas are both gonna go 11-6, and they're gonna get the 2 wild card spots in the AFC. I think Denver will miss out this year.
You do.
I do. I just,
even with Russell Wilson there and everything
Russell
like
Wilson,
that.
I'm not buying into the Cowboys country. Let's ride. Cowboys country. Let's ride. Cowboys country. Let's ride. I don't know if you saw that meme. Did you see that? Did you see that video?
No.
He said it like 4 times in 4 different ways.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah. Cowboys country. Let's ride.
All right. You're picking the Chargers. I'm going to go with the Raiders in this division. I think the Raiders are going to jump, and they're going to.
That's bold. That's bold of you.
That is going to be my pick for that division, the toughest division probably in the NFL.
That's
And
gonna be those games are gonna be so fun to watch.
I think
so many good
Derek
games.
Carr. I like Derek Carr, and I think the Raiders are ready to make the move. He's got the right experience.
You hear what Tom Brady said about Derek Carr?
What?
So Tom Brady getting interviewed, and he's saying that Dana White, who has obviously huge ties with the Raiders because of Vegas UFC, right?
Yep.
He was learning. I mean, Brady was about
Dana White from
UFC.
UFC.
He was about Tom Brady and Gronk were about to go to Vegas instead of going to the Bucks, and then he's like, and then Tom Brady didn't say the team name, but it was obvious it was the Raiders, and he said, obviously they're really missing out because I'm a lot better than the guy they have there right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone's like, Derek Carr's a great guy, like he's a good quarterback. Did you really have to diss him like that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, a bit of a Lobo.
Brady likes to do stuff like that every now and then.
Yeah, he does indeed. Well, when you're number one in the NFL in passing yards,
Pretty much
at
number one
44
in
years
everything.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's jump into the NFC.
All right, let's do it.
You got that Giants shirt on?
Yes, I do. I wore this when the Giants won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well,
back
guess what? Jim Mora.
1813.
Jim Mora had not nice words to say about them. Let's cue what Jim has to think
come
about
on,
the
Jim.
NFC
You better
East.
be careful, Jimmy.
NFC East, Dallas is the most talented team in that division. That doesn't mean they're going to win it, but they're the most talented, and I think they're going to win that division. I think Philadelphia is coming on and will be a factor.
Jim, I think has.
You didn't ask him about the Giants? I mean, come on. You have Jim Mora. You're talking to Jim Mora, and you didn't ask him about the Giants to see how the Giants would do? Come on.
Who cares about the Giants?
I do.
Yeah, well, you and two other.
I think the Giants are actually going to improve this year. I think we might see a little bit of. Might see them
Giants
move. They're going to move the needle a little bit.
Giants have 10 captains. That means 1 out of every 5 players is a captain.
They have 10 captains?
Yeah, like what's the point of 10? What's the point of a captain when you're gonna have 10 of them?
It's ridiculous.
I don't get it. But Dallas, I think what Jim said is definitely correct. Dallas and Eagles obviously are coming on to be a good team. I have Dallas going 11-6, making the playoffs. I think Dak Prescott is just that guy, and I think CeeDee Lamb's going to transform into one of the best players in the NFL. But like Jim did say, Jalen Hurts, a lot of new additions to that offense. It's all on him now. It's all on him. He has all the tools. He has all the pieces. It's all on Jalen Hurts to perform. Will he perform? Maybe not, and maybe Ian Book, play like a champion today, baby, will come in because he just got signed by the
Ian
Eagles.
Book. I thought he was on the Saints.
Yeah, he just got released and thrown into Philadelphia.
All right, Ian Book. I don't think Ian Book's the answer, but
You're going to say that until we go to Ian Book and interview him and get him on the show.
I do think Philadelphia is going to win the division, though. I think they're going to edge out Dallas, and I'm picking Philadelphia to go 11-6.
Yeah, I could, obviously.
And I think the Giants are going to be right there in second place. How do you like that?
Giants are going to be in second place at 2-15.
No, I think the Giants.
Dallas and Commanders are running 16.
No, I really believe the Giants are going to.
We'll see.
You're going to see a little bit of a change for the Giants.
Yeah, I do like Kadarius Toney. That guy is a beast. He's a monster. The receiver they have.
Yeah.
You see his college. He goes.
They got to get him the ball more though. Last year they didn't.
Kayvon Thibodeau too.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
He's a monster.
I'm a little worried about him. Didn't he hurt his knee in preseason?
Yeah, he's fine now. It's only a couple weeks.
All right.
All right. Now NFC North. Jim didn't have many words for this.
NFC North, Green Bay going away.
Packers win easily.
Yeah. Well,
Playoffs.
I have the Packers not winning easily because I have the Minnesota Vikings taking a huge leap. If you take away the last minute of the, I believe, second and first half, maybe.
Hold on a second. See, you disagree with Jim Mora on this.
I disagree with Jim Mora completely, entirely, and I'll live by this. I think the Minnesota Vikings, you talk about a team, I forget what team you said is going to make you said the Dolphins are going to make a leap. My team making a leap this year is the Minnesota Vikings. I think Kirk Cousins is perhaps the most underrated. I said it was Matt Ryan. I really mean this, Kirk Cousins.
Oh, God, this guy, Kirk Cousins. I can't stand this guy.
I live by Kirk. I think Kirk Cousins is such an underrated player. Such an underrated player.
He'll be the first one to tell you.
I might be the last to, but I'll stand by it till the day I die that I love Kirk Cousins.
Day you die? I think it's a little dramatic.
I love Justin Jefferson. I love what they're building. They have a great defense right there. They have a great front seven. It's just amazing what they... As a rookie, I believe, he 1,616 yards and 10 touchdowns, in year 2 in the NFL. That's Justin Jefferson right there. He can change a game entirely. He will be the best receiver in the NFL.
But what about the Lions? What do you think of the Lions? They're in that division.
Boy, I love the Lions.
Are you serious?
Talk about it. Dan Campbell's the man. He's the man.
He's a fun guy to watch, and I've been watching him on that
Hard
HBO,
Knocks, yeah.
Hard Knocks and everything. He's funny. I'll give you that. He is funny.
They'll be a good team because when a team invests in a coach like that.
What? That doesn't mean anything, Chris.
Okay.
When a team invests in a coach, it doesn't mean anything. He's got to deliver.
Well, give your prediction then. Who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, look at you getting a little snippy.
Yeah, I am getting snippy. Tell me who you think's gonna win.
A little snippy.
The Vikings,
Gotta get
13-4.
You gotta go to bed soon. Yeah, I think I actually agree with Jim on this one. I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Honestly, I want to walk off the show right now. Like, how does one?
Oh, the door's right there.
Yeah, well, to me, it's simple. The Minnesota Vikings. I think the Vikings are making a deep playoff run too.
I think you're gonna regret that
Deep
pick.
playoff.
And I think
They said that about the Bengals last year in the playoffs. I'll keep
Oh my God, he's gonna still do
until
this.
I mess up really bad. I'm gonna use that against everybody.
You did have the Bengals last year. I have to admit, you were a big proponent of the Bengals. That was a good one. Where are you going? You're gonna have to edit that part out where you walk away.
Yeah.
Chris, come on.
I'm a big Bengals fan. I think I wish I have I need a Vikings helmet. That's what I need.
Yes, you do.
Now we gotta get back into the swing of things here. But NFC South, we talked a bit about Tom Brady.
Yes.
Tom Brady going away from camp. Do you think he's gonna recover and have a big year? Or do you think the Bucs will take a step back?
Well, I think it all depends. With the Buccaneers and Tom Brady, everything depends on their offensive line. Okay, because Tom Brady is obviously not mobile. I don't want to shock the world, but he's getting a little old.
Oh, really?
A little long in the tooth.
He was getting old 10 years ago. He was getting old 20 years ago.
I know. Very true. But they have to protect him. They got to protect him. And I think they've had a couple of turnover issues in their offensive line. So as long as that holds up, I think they'll be formidable. And but I don't think they're going to be something. They're not going to be a team that's going to go far in the playoffs.
I think the Bucs are too deep of a team to not win this division. I think
so. You got them winning the division. You're not worried about the Saints.
I'm not worried about the Saints at all.
Okay.
I don't see any team.
It is it's kind of a weird division. I mean, I would say the Buccaneers too. If you had to put a gun to my head, I say the Buccaneers. But I don't see them being a team that's really going to make a run for the playoffs.
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
I think Jim Mora
playoffs.
Wait, Jim Mora, I think Jim Mora might disagree with us on this one.
Hold on a second. Did we get his pick on that one?
No, let's cue the video of Jim Mora.
NFC South, Tampa Bay should be the favorite, will be the favorite. I still, and I'm prejudiced here, like my team, the Saints. They had tough luck. They have had tough luck last year with the injury to Jameis Winston. If he's healthy again and stays healthy for the whole season, I like the way he was coming on last year when he did get hurt. And if he will continue to stay healthy and improve, I think that it'll help their offense. Defensively, they're really good and will continue to be good. And when you play good defense, you always got a chance to be successful.
Yeah, so Jim Mora seems to be going with the team of his choice there, the team that he has a connection to, a tie to. I think Jim Mora might be a little biased. Wouldn't you say, Dad?
You're telling me Jim Mora thinks the Saints are going to
I think Jim Mora's a little biased.
They're going to the what?
Playoffs. They're going
playoffs. I can listen to that all the time. I want that to be my ringer on my phone.
Gosh, I would jump off a cliff. Yeah.
Every time you call me, it's going to say
playoffs. It's like a duck.
All right. So Jim Mora thinks the Saints. All right. Good, Jim.
Good.
That's a good pick,
Jim.
and I do appreciate Jim Mora being a part of the show.
I appreciate him being a bit different with the pick on the Saints.
Listen, man, the guy knows what he's talking about. He was an NFL coach. There's only 32 of them.
Yeah.
At any one single time, there's only 32 jobs. There's 350 million people in America, and he was the head coach of an NFL team.
That is crazy.
All right, let's move to the West.
I mean, there's only 2 hosts of the Chris and his Dad show, though, so
that's true.
It's 350 million people in the company.
Yeah.
In the country. NFC West. Let's
but
first off.
Nobody watches us. That's the problem.
Don't worry. we'll get there.
All right.
Let's go to Jim.
Where are we? What division are we
NFC West. Let's jump.
Who's in the NFC West, Chris?
Dad.
Cardinals, Seahawks, 49ers.
We're not in second grade anymore.
Well, no, I mean, people might want to know. You got to remind people. You know,
Yeah, they're watching a sports talk show. They should know who's in the division.
You're going to be a broadcaster.
Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners, and Rams. Perhaps the second best division to me in all of football besides the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are not a good team anymore. Seahawks, maybe they want to tank and get C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young in the NFL draft to build their future around. Let's go to what Jim has to say first and then relay off of that.
NFC West, I don't see anybody winning that division except the LA Rams. The Rams might be the most talented team from top to bottom. I'm talking about classical, great talent. They must be the most talented team in the NFL. They have a fine coaching staff, have a good head coach. So I like the Rams in that division. It's tough to predict them to go to the Super Bowl again next year or win the Super Bowl next year because I think it's really tough to repeat. Unless you just dominate and you are so much better than other teams, it's hard to come back and win another Super Bowl after you've won it at the year before.
All right. So he thinks the Rams. No surprise there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with him.
I agree with you, Jim. You know what you're talking about. I mean, the Rams, I see the Rams doing really well, and I actually think the Niners are going to be pretty good in that division as well.
I do too.
I think the Niners could sneak in. What do you think?
I really do too. I think the Niners are going to have that wild card spot. I do think the Rams are obviously going to, have one of the higher seeds there in the NFC.
Yep.
The Rams, like the Bucks, so much depth in that team. And when you think of the Rams, you just think of constant freaks in nature. I mean, and then you have Cooper Kupp as the wide receiver spot, and you have Matt Stafford. I mean, what a connection those two have. What a connection. It's a better connection than he had with Megatron, who's perhaps maybe the most talented receiver of all time. On the defensive end of things, you have Aaron Donald.
And now we're showing a lot of disrespect to the Cardinals, though. They got a good team.
I don't know. Kyler Murray, what worries me with Kyler Murray is the fact that they had to put in his contract that he has to study film.
Yeah, that's never good.
Like, that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
Never. And then he complained and whined about it so much they took it out.
Really? Yeah, he definitely didn't look good in the final games there.
No.
Remember?
My gosh, looked like a fish out of water.
Yeah, that was like an embarrassing game.
I mean, it was bad. That might have been the worst football game he ever played.
Yeah, so until he can show he can handle the lights and all that stuff.
But let's not remember who we're talking. Like, we got to remember, Kyler Murray, though, is... When I think of the NFL, you think of these athletic guys that are just can take this league and grab it by their hands, like Aaron Donald. This guy was a top 10 pick in MLB and the NFL. Number 1 pick in the NFL, number 7 in the MLB.
Maybe you should have gone to the MLB.
Yeah, by the looks of it. Yeah, I mean, he's making, what, hundreds of millions now?
He's doing fine, but he definitely has to study that game plan a little bit better.
49ers, though, as we mentioned, might sneak in.
So what do you like about the 49ers?
I love their coach, Kyle Shanahan. I just am a big believer in Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, losing Mike McDaniels to the Dolphins might put a dent in a couple of things, but they have Deebo Samuel. The quarterback position,
Samuel's great.
They're going to have Trey Lance at the quarterback position instead of Jimmy Garoppolo. So, to me, very dependent on how Trey Lance does. I think their defense will be fine. I think everybody will be fine. It's just a quarterback, and who you're going to play, they're going to go with Trey Lance. They did re-sign Jimmy G. Everyone thought he would be traded. Jimmy G's back. So if Trey Lance does not perform, which I think he will, you could always go back to Jimmy G, who's just a solid, reliable guy.
And I do agree with you about Shanahan. I mean, he comes from coaching pedigree. His father was always good, and always had solid teams. So I agree with you there. I think the Niners are in good shape, and they can definitely get second in that division and get a wild card.
Yeah, definitely. And now, as the show's wrapping up, let's just see what Jim Mora has to say to you and I.
This is to the Chris and his dad show, and I understand that's a pretty good show. So I'd like to have the two of you pick the games that you see this year and how you think they're going to be, and I know you do this during the season. Dad, you need to do a much better job than this season keeping up with Chris. I understand Chris has pretty much dominated you in recent years, and I don't know if that's embarrassing or not, but you need to do better keeping up with Chris. Apparently Chris maybe studies a little bit harder, knows the league a bit better, whatever, but Dad, I think you need to set a better example for your son. But anyway, I'm looking forward. What I want to do is give you my takes on some of the things that I see this season, and it's going to be quick.
What did he say? Where is it?
Please just go follow the Chris and his dad show.
Whoa, that was great.
Yeah, I mean, Jim Mora, what a legend.
That was pretty cool.
Jim Mora, to me, in my top 10 coaches of all time, has just snuck in to that spot.
Chris, you're so easy to buy. Who are we gonna get? We got to get some more guests, man.
We got to get
that
some
was
more
really
guests.
cool.
I think Jim Mora. When you think of Jim Mora, you think of a guy who has reached millions. People who don't even know football have seen that
You're
rant.
going too far.
And he's on the Chris and his dad show. I mean, why don't you subscribe?
Well,
Jim Mora, subscribe.
He
Subscribe
started.
back.
He started the playoff rant. And do you have the original clip of him when he was when he says playoffs?
Yeah.
Play it now.
And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome is that? How awesome is that?
It's-
And now you have the one where he reenacts it. Can you play that real quick?
Yeah.
Before we go? Come on.
Okay, I'm fine. Jeez. Slow down.
You sound like Chris Russo.
All right. There we go. Playoffs. Playoffs.
That was awesome.
We're talking about practice.
Jim Mora's a good sport, right?
He's a nice guy. I honestly, the biggest thing I learned about Jim Mora is he just loves football, and you could tell he has a true passion for this. And a lot of those guys are like that. And because at his age now, Jim, sorry, but at his age now, and he just is still so involved in the game. He still knows everything that's happening around the league. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
It is very impressive. So kudos.
So, thanks, Jim. And Chris, when are we going to start doing our weekly picks?
Next episode, which will come out in a couple of days after this one, which you're seeing now, and also tomorrow night. Maybe by the time it's out, I don't exactly know when we're getting this out. This game might have already happened, but by this time, maybe Notre Dame would have played Ohio State. And to me, this is a hugely emotional
College
game.
football. He's got to get the college football in there. So Notre Dame's playing Ohio State to start the season. That is a gigantic game.
It is the biggest week 1 game.
Okay, real quick, what's your pick on that since that's tomorrow night?
Notre Dame.
You got Notre Dame. You actually have Notre Dame beating Ohio State. Ohio State's supposed to win the not supposed to, but they're going to be a top 4 team in the playoffs. Unless they lose this game. Although if you're going to lose, it's always good to lose early, right?
I just, Notre Dame, man.
You think Notre Dame? Okay.
We talk about Jim being by with the Saints. Look what we have behind us. Play like a champion today. We don't have be a Buckeye. We have play like a champion today. Be an Irishman and go for Notre Dame.
All right. Let's end it there.
Oh.
No, I'm rooting for Notre Dame. You know that. But I think Ohio State's going to be really tough to beat, and they're going to have their hands full. I'm going to be honest with you.
To me,
I flew all the way out to Arizona last year to watch them play in that Fiesta Bowl and only see Notre Dame blow that freaking
At least I interviewed Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, that was cool, but still, I mean, Marcus needs to, this would be a nice big win on his resume if he wins this game.
Yeah, well,
and where are they playing, Chris?
In Ohio State.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough.
Knock
man.
on wood.
It's gonna be tough. Prime time.
Thanks again, everybody, for following along. This was episode 1. Lots more to come. Perhaps 20 plus more episodes. Make sure to follow us on TikTok at Chris and Dad Show. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at the.sportscourt. Subscribe to this channel and the Sports Court channel. You could see it right here.
TikTok.
And thank you again, everybody, for following along. We will see you in the next episode.